Shalom, Bruchim Habaim. Welcome to this video. This is video number 2 out of 3, where we talk about the future tense and how we can actually use it for expressions that do not really have something to do with the future tense, but we need it in Hebrew to express these kind of things. Whatever, expressions. Okay, so let me show you.
The use of the future tense. Well, should be easy, right? But let's see. We have let's. This is where we need the future tense. We have the first conditional. Don't worry, I explain that in a minute. Here we need the future tense in Hebrew. And then we have the negative imperative. Who needs the future tense? And sometimes also the positive imperative. And I'm saying if you want to be cool, because that's for colloquial Hebrew. Okay, let's. This I explained in the video yesterday. I leave you the link in the description of this video so you can go back. And here is the summary. So basically we said you need the imperative of to come and the future tense of the verb. And here you have it. Future tense. Without the future tense, there is no way to say let's do this and that. Okay. First conditional, what is that? Well, the first conditional is something that is possible to happen. The code is if A will happen, this is how it is said in Hebrew, not if A happens. So if A will happen, that's the condition, we will do B. These are the consequences. And here you see you have already in the condition the future tense. Not only in the consequence, but without the future tense, no first conditional in Hebrew. Let's take this sentence here. If it rains tomorrow, condition, consequence, we will stay at home. Im machar yiret geshem, nisha'er babait. And here you see the difference to English. Rains. Present tense in English, but in Hebrew, future tense. Again, without future tense, no conditional. And then it is the same. We will stay at home. Nisha'er babait. We will stay. Nisha'er. Now, the negative imperative. You cannot express the negative imperative in Hebrew without the future tense, for which you will need not only the future tense, but also al. That is basically the negation. So, don't close the door is al tisgor et hadelet. So you have al and the future tense. Let's come to the next one. Don't sit there. Oh, by the way, we're here talking to a man, okay? To make it easier, I do not want to teach you here the imperatives or the future tense of each person. I want to teach you the concept. Okay, don't sit there. Al teshev sham. The same. Al and future tense. Now, the third sentence. Don't come. Al tavo. There's not more to say. Don't come. Al tavo. Al plus future tense. Okay? Now, when we look at all of these sentences, they all have al for don't, and then they all have the future tense. Great. This is the only way to make a negative imperative. There is no other way. You cannot say al sugor. That means like al and the imperative. Not possible. You need the future tense. Now, when it comes to the positive imperative, and here are a couple of confusables. When we give a positive command, that means we take here the same sentences and we take the don't, the negation out. What happens? And by the way, here this is a great example what we do in the course. What I want is that you get this automatism and you don't have to think about it. Like close the door, don't close the door and open the window. You know, you go from one to another. It's like yoga for your brain. Okay, having said that, now we come to these sentences. Now we take the negation out. We come to the positive imperative. So we basically just take al and the future tense out. Close the door is סגור את הדלת. Sit there, שב שם. Come, בוא. Well, this is the so-called normative imperative. That is the imperative mood, as I explain also in my book. You take a route and you do this and that to come to the imperative. Great, but now comes here the confusion. Isn't there also a possibility to use the future tense as imperative, like this one here? Well, yeah. And then it is תסגור את הדלת, תשב שם, תבוא. Careful here. It goes from בוא to תבוא. But then you might be wondering, okay, I have heard both. So when do I use which? Yeah. That is a good question. And I can tell you that, for example, here in sit there or sit or have a seat, you hear way more often shev than teshev. Seriously. I'm just wondering, when did I hear the last time teshev? Sounds strange to me, which means nothing. But yeah, so that is the question. So if it is technically possible and grammatically correct, when do I use which? Okay, I still have to give you a video tomorrow, so this is where we go into that subject. But I give you a little spoiler. I don't leave you with nothing. So the answer is, it depends a bit on the binyan and the register of the language. So with this, I leave you until tomorrow.
Great, you're still here. So this was number 2, and tomorrow I will give you video number 3 and finally the answer to this question. When shall I use the future tense and when the imperative? After tomorrow's video, you're going to be a pro. See you tomorrow. Neshikot. Shalom.